Okay, dokie. I think, yes, I have audio. And I'm just waiting to see if, there it goes. Now I can see my ugly mug. Okay, there we go. That's better. All right, hopefully you guys hear me okay. Let me know if there's any problem with the audio. It's Thursday. Oh, until about 30 minutes ago, the sun wasn't even out. The sun is now out. Okay, because as you can see out my window, the sun's out. Okay. So there's really not much of a point to this stream, other than I probably should be putting out something at least once, or, well, at least once a month. I should be doing. I've never been able to do that consistently. But anyway, we're getting close. Windows 11, let's see, October. This is already, well, it's almost June. So we're talking maybe 4.5 months, 4.75 months. 4.5 months probably before end of support for 10. So I don't know, there's no problem with the audio. Thank you. Was watching the GN interview of ASRock. Yeah, I saw that. We'll see. We'll see if they've got it straightened out. I don't know. Anyway, let me go over to here and do this over here. Okay, so anyway, this is the gaming system. It's still on 10, as you can plainly see from the come on, there's my little pointer. All right, you can plainly see that it's still on 10, and if we really want to, I can do the whole WinVer thing. Obviously it's on 10. So I just created a new USB flash drive with 11 on it, using the media creation tool. I assume that most people know how to do this. So all I'm really going to do is we're going to stick this sucker into the machine. We're going to wait for it to tell us that something's gotten plugged in. There it goes. It says it's plugged in. Sorry about the tiny fonts. I have this put into the 4K port on the capture card. It's running at 1440p resolution right now. So anyway, I'm just going to go down, and there it is right there. Hit that, and we're just going to run the setup. We're going to see what happens. Now there's quite a bit of stuff on this, and I have purposely not done a backup. Because I'm crazy. Also, there's gaming stuff on here. There's email, yes, but unless it absolutely wipes the drive in some fashion that I can't recover, which I can't imagine it would do that, I can still get any pertinent stuff off of here. So I'm not concerned about this, quite frankly. So anyway, let's just go through the motions. I'm gonna run the setup. Oh, also I'm going to disconnect the network cable, because I don't want to do this with the network attached, just in case. Yeah, okay, and that triggered that. All right, there we go, camera. Thank you very much. Stay stationary, thank you. Anyway, so let me get myself sort of out of the way here a little bit. Hang on a second. There we go. So we're going to go ahead and, yeah, you're not going to get any updates because I have the network disconnected. This is why I decided that I wasn't going to have the network plugged in. But anyway, while we're going through this process, if you guys have any questions you want to ask me, or if there's any particular subject you want to bring up during the stream, feel free to do so. Let's see what we got here. Greg Gaius here, hello. John Williams is here. Tony, as always, thank you, Tony, for all of the support that you have shown me over the years. I appreciate it, as always. But yeah, if you guys have got any questions that you want to to go through. Let's get, well, I really can't see this pointer that well. That was a interesting idea. All right, so hit accept. All righty. Yes, I know. It's going to do this like two. I think this does it at least 2 times before it finally gives up. But yeah, I'm not terribly worried about it. For those of you who are in the chat, does everybody who's here already have a machine that can run Windows 11? I guess that's, I'll toss it out as a first question and see if that sparks anything. Because my wife has got her desktop machine and her laptop are still on 10. She's fighting against going to 11. She's not going to have a choice, but, you know, fight the good fight. And I've kind of been at the point where, yeah, okay, yes, 11 annoys me. It annoys me like it annoys everybody else. But you know what? It's what we have. So instead of hemming and hawing, the streaming machine is already on 11. The computer over here that runs the ham radio stuff, that's already on 11. I figured, well, the gaming system, it needs to be, just so, you know, I can deal with it. Yes, make sure, yes. Let's see if this actually goes through. Okay. The X470. Yeah, X470. I think that's, correct me if I'm wrong. That's AM4 if I remember correctly. I have a hard time keeping it straight as to who's who, but I think that's AM4. All right, let's see. Pro, keep all the stuff. Yes. Okay, so let's go through the motions then. There we go. So I'm hoping this doesn't take very long. I know if I had done it over the internet, it might be longer, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I don't anticipate this being a problem. Let's see. Freaking audio controls in Windows 11. Yeah. Let's see here. What else? Yeah. Okay. Anyway. But yeah, I've put it off for a while. 24H2. Yes, it's 24H2. I just, like an hour before the stream started, I did the media creation tool for a fresh copy of 11. So this should be 24H2. Okay, John. Most of them have 11 installed. Yeah, well, that's eventually going to be the thing here too. The only one of my systems, and when I say my, is the systems that I use, most of them are already 11. I think this is actually the last holdout. The laptop I bought a year and a half ago, something like that, that came with 11. So that was a given. The streamer went to Windows 11 last year. In fact, I think last year, May, it went. The data recovery machine, which is on the bench over there, it's out of shot, way out of shot. It's on 11 and Linux Mint, because there are some tools for data recovery in both environments that I will switch from one to the other depending. The ham radio computer went to 11 a couple of months ago. I had a real interesting time doing that one. I'm sure I've mentioned it before, but I had an interesting time doing that. Trying to think of what else. No, that's it. For me, the gaming system, the streamer, the ham radio computer, the data recovery machine, those are all the ones that I use off and on. this is the only one of mine that's still on 10. And once this gets finished, we should be able to do, this will be the last holdout for me. The wife's machine, that's coming. Whether she knows it or not, it's coming. And by that I mean is that, and again, I've mentioned this before. I'm sure some of you guys are tired of me repeating this, but I'll mention it again for anybody who doesn't know. My wife's machine is getting a CPU upgrade. I've got to convert the disk from MBR to GPT. I probably have to do the BIOS upgrade because I think the BIOS upgrade on that is not set for 5000 series. I think it's an older BIOS. It's a B450 motherboard. I want to say it's on like version 3.2, which is more than a few years old. So BIOS update, convert disk, CPU upgrade. Once I have the disk converted, I got to set it for UEFI. I may or may not enable secure boot right off the top. I think I probably won't. But what I'm curious about is once I get all of that done, how long is it going to take for the system to go, here's your Windows 11, here's your Windows 11, do it now, do it now, do it now. That's what I'm waiting for. Z270 gaming i5 5th 7th gen. Yeah, surprising. It is able to. Cool. Without any bypass. Cool. Yeah, it's 7th is just like, it's weird. It doesn't make any sense. I don't, there's like no rhyme or reason. Some 7s will pass and some won't. I don't understand. Given an HP desktop yesterday. All it wanted was to get rid of it. All SSDs to be erased. They don't want it back. Okay, set up an AMAA Info Center software says do not upgrade the BIOS if you are not having issues. And Greg, yeah, that's fine. And generally I would again, her system has been running since I built it in 2019, and I think I did maybe one BIOS update to it when I first put it together. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I have not updated the BIOS since at least 2021, I want to say, roughly. Okay. All right, let me pull this out of here. I don't need that. And yes, this is a dual boot system, by the way. It does Linux Mint and it does Windows. So, yeah, yes, I understand. Not if you're not having issues, don't. What? Oh, you got to be kidding me! Really? Holy crap! That's interesting. Are you serious? Oh, you are going to be a pain in my ass, aren't you? Oh, you little devil, you. Interesting. Now, what is your major malfunction? I wonder if it's pissed off because there's Linux on the system. Oh, that's neat. That's cool. Okay. That's interesting. What did you, yeah, son of a gun. It did, son of a gun. Huh. That was unexpected. Couldn't install Windows 11. I'm gonna have to hold on a minute, guys. I'm gonna have to scale this up because I can't really see it that well. So your eyes are gonna bug out. Okay. All right, let me close that. Back to the way it was. Installation failed. Safe OS phase. What the hell is that? You know, I'm gonna have to stop giving up live streams because things just seem to happen all the time. Installation failed in the Safe OS phase. What the hell is that all about? That's odd. Hmm. That's very odd. I don't understand. I'm guessing it has something to do with the fact that Grub bootloader is on this system, and maybe that's what it's throwing up itself about. That's very, very strange. That's very strange. Huh. Interesting. Oh, it's yeah, okay. Well, yeah, okay. That's because the network's not plugged in. That's very strange. I'm going to try this again just for the hell of it. Yeah, John. Yeah, John, it's not a good sign. Yeah, exactly. It's not a good sign. Huh. Yeah. Nobody reads this. Nobody reads this stuff. Yeah, stop. It'll love how it wants to check for updates. Low disk space? You know what? That might be. That might be. You might be correct, John. Let me double check what's on here. I would think 378 gigabyte free should be enough, but maybe I'm wrong. It's entirely possible. I could be wrong. I would have thought that would be enough. So let's see what's on the system. There's not much here. I cleaned up a lot of this before, so there's nothing here. Let me go over here again and take a look, because we're waiting for this thing to quit pissing and moaning. Yeah, there's not much here. So that's it. It's possible, but I would think that would be enough. And let me go into here. There might be. Let me look at some of what's here, because there's a lot of stuff that's still on this thing that I probably should get rid of. I'm going to look through. No, there's not a lot here. No, I'm usually pretty good about cleaning up, so there should be enough room. I can't imagine that there's not, but that's possible. I'm going to try it again just for the hell of it. Let's see what happens. BitLocker is not on this system. No. I avoid BitLocker like the plague. So that's not it. Definitely not BitLocker. Corrupt media, that's, I don't know. It would not surprise me to find out that it's pissing and moaning about the Grub bootloader because there's Linux on the system. That would not surprise me. But it's very strange. Don't get it. The only thing USB that's plugged in is the dongle for my keyboard and mouse upstairs and the dongle for the keyboard and mouse that I'm using right now while we're on the stream. Don't think that's it either. So, yeah, I corrupt media, maybe. Um, We'll see. Let's just see what it wants to do this time. Maybe it just barfed on itself for no particular reason. If that's what it's complaining about, then I may have to create another drive with Rufus. I may have to do that. If that's what's going on here, maybe the Rufus thing would get around that. But man, yeah, I'm gonna have to stop doing live streams because things just keep screwing up. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I have bad luck apparently with if it's something other than a build, I have a bad time with live streams apparently. Singo. Well, you might learn more from Carrie than you will from me, but I don't know. Toss a coin. Oh, and it goes. Great. Now goes to uncompress the W. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It could be, but again, I would think over 350 gigabytes of free space should be enough. But I could be wrong. In which case, if that's the case, then this is going to be a somewhat, again, short live stream. Let's try it again. Find out what it's barfing on. It doesn't seem to get, I don't think it got very far before it said, no thanks. I wasn't actually watching when it first happened, so I'm kind of like going to just stare at this for a little bit. Yeah, it's not moving. There it goes. 2%. I would think that this would be moving along faster than this. There's 3. There's 4. 5. 15, and then I saw very briefly flashed 15. And then it restarted. Which tells me that, yeah, something's going on. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's not happy. It's definitely not happy. Okay. So then I could try making this with Rufus and see if maybe Rufus will handle this better. That's very weird. It briefly flashed 15% just as it decided it was going to reboot itself. So, okay. Well, I don't think it's harmed anything. Let me plug the network back in. Oh, stop it. Yeah, couldn't install Safe OS phase, apply image operation. So it's a possibility that there's not enough space on the system. That's going to be a pisser. Oh man. Okay. So that means, oh, that's annoying. That's just annoying. That shows this. Okay. I don't know what that'll tell you. There's the drive. That's the main C. This is a 2 terabyte drive, but that's the C partition. That's the Linux partition right there. I have to increase the system partition size. Well, the system partition size is what this is. There's not much I can do about that unless I try to rearrange partitions on this. Now, I don't know if I don't think it's complaining about the recovery partition. Although I'll grant you, yeah, it's small, but it is 10 in the first place. So that's interesting. Trying to think if yeah, I want to think about this for a few moments. Yeah, 22% free, I would think should be enough. You need only 64 plus an additional 20 to install 11. So, all right, let me think about this for a minute. Somewhere around here, I think. I thought I had. Hang on a minute, guys. I was reasonably sure I had Linux Mint on something. Because it's not, the problem is that Linux Mint is not going to let me, if I boot into Linux Mint, it's not going to let me try to resize partitions while I'm in the operating system. So I would need to have a boot thumb drive. And I'm trying to figure out if I have. That's Ventoy. No, that's not going to do it. All right, so that's Ventoy. Trying to remember. Yeah, at the moment I can't find what I'm looking for. Try another flash drive. Now, oh, wait a minute. I see something right there. Hang on. I have way too much crap around here. I really do. Let me see what this one is. That's Windows 11. What is this? Doesn't say off the top. Oh, that's probably not good. All right, this is probably something else. What that would be, I don't know off the top of my head. But it's not happy. It is not happy about whatever's on here. That's not good. That's not good. All right, let me pull this out. It'll eventually crash. Yeah, close program. Yeah. Whatever. Okay. Okay. So I'm not sure what's on this one. That's interesting. Well, tell you what. Let's see if, trying to remember, where are you? No. Let's go here. Let's go to downloads. Let me see. Do I have Rufus on here at all? I do not have Rufus on here, but I'm pretty sure I have it on the streaming machine. So let me check the streaming machine real quick here. I mean, I can try and create one with Rufus and see if that bypasses the issue, but I'm not 100% convinced that, let me see, where are you? Thought I had Rufus on here somewhere. Oh, come on. I could swear it was on here. I'm just looking, guys. Just bear with me a minute. There it is. I knew I had it. Plug it into here. Let's open up Rufus. Okay. Yeah, I know that there's a newer Rufus. Thank you. I know that. Thank you very much. Download GPT, UEFI. Let me see if why is it not giving me it's been a while since I've done this. GPT, okay, what is your problem? I forget how to do this. Oh, come on, you. All right, let's close this. Let me go into disk management on here. Let me see if I can take a peek at what's going on with this drive. All right, since I'm not sure what's actually on it, I'm going to just start deleting partitions off of it. See if I can get that to work. There we go. Let me look over and try it here real quick just to see what you guys are talking about here. Past Windows installs would simply clobber the bootloader. Yeah. If anything would cause issues with Linux. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that happen. Okay, so I'm gonna, oh, so it doesn't want to do that. That's interesting. Okay, so that's interesting. Okay. Okay. I'm doing a couple things in the background here. I'm just trying to figure out what it's doing. Okay. Okay, we're going to let that run. Anyway, let me see here, guys. Let me look through here. Yeah, storms again in Florida. Well, not to put too fine a point on it. Yeah, not surprised. Okay, so that's, I don't know what it's doing, but it's doing something. All right, so, interesting. Let's see if, so that bothers me. I know I've got a Linux Mint somewhere here. I know I have it. Let me see here. Here's another flash drive. I got too many flash drives. That's the other problem. One flash drive, too many. Let's see what this one says. Just USB drive. That doesn't give me anything to go with. For God's sake. What's on here? Oh, this suspiciously looks like this might be yes, this might be, yeah, this might be an actual Linux Mint thing. Okay. So I leave that in there. Okay, let's try this. Hold down the shift key and hit restart. There we go. Let's try this, see if it'll boot from this or not. It might not. There we go. I knew I had one around here somewhere. It's an older version, but what I need to do, I can do. Okay, there we go. So, boy, that's tiny. Oh my God, that's tiny. Oh, that is very, very tiny. All right, let's, come on, Jim, you'll think of it. You'll think of it. Okay. Should be G part. Should be that guy right there. Okay. Sorry, guys. This is just very tiny because it's in the 4K resolution. Wow. Okay. See if I can. No, let's see if. No, of course that doesn't work. No, that doesn't work. Okay. Boy, that's going to be very difficult for me to see. Let me try it on the other monitor. That's just so tiny. See if I can put this on the bigger monitor and see if I can see it. Wow, yeah, I still can't really see it all that well. Wow. Okay, so we're on this one. So we're on this one here. Okay, so that's the one we're on there. That's the Linux partition. Now, I'm not using a lot of it. Let's see, there's the resize move option. And I could conceivably shrink this down quite a bit here and do that. Yeah, I know. Thank you. And then come over here to this guy, resize move, and pull it out to here. So then it looks like that. That would give me more space. If what we're having is a space issue, that might resolve it. So I'm going to do an apply on this. Yes, I'm sure I want to do it. So it's going to shrink the one. It's going to expand the other one. Then we're going to reboot and go back in and try this one more time. If the third time it doesn't work, then I think we're done. So I'm going to just let it go, as they say in Frozen, let it go, and do what it needs to do. It'll take a while to get that done, probably, but that's where I'm going with this. If it's a space issue, I've given it more space. And if that's the problem, then the next time we try this, it should go. We'll see. But again, this operation is going to take a little bit. Oh, my ugly mug. I made it zoom in. Don't want to do that. There we go. So we're going to wait for this to do its thing and see what happens after this. Now, what's that famous quote? Live and unscripted? There you go. All right, I'm going to go back to chat while we're waiting for this thing to do whatever it's doing. Yeah, unfortunately, I have it plugged into the 4K port on the capture card. That was kind of my mistake. But Rick Lake's slow. And, you know, make mistakes. It happens. Once this thing is finished, then again, we'll try and make this happen. If at that point it doesn't work, then I think we're done as far as the stream is concerned. But it is sure taking its sweet time doing it, I will tell you that. I have contemplated there's a 2 terabyte drive in the system. I've contemplated going to a 4 terabyte, in part because of the fact that I have enough games loaded that the space is is starting to become a problem. So if you guys have got anything else, go ahead and comment away. We're getting there. We're getting there. Let's see here. Rock 9, hello. Let's see. 12 people watching. Okay, yeah. Too tiny. That print is just too tiny. That'll learn me. Don't stick it into the 4K. That's what she said. We're getting there. We're getting there. Nothing's ever easy, boys and girls. Nothing's ever easy. So, if this is a space issue that we're running into, hopefully this takes care of it. If not, then I'm probably not going to have much of a choice other than to wipe the system and install fresh. I would prefer to have not had done that, but this is where we are. Maybe I'll get lucky. Maybe I'll get lucky. But part of me is going, yeah, probably not. And shrinking the Linux partition was something I probably should have done as soon as I noticed that I was installing, well, just a few games, shall we say. So, yeah. I've probably brought this on myself more than anything else. But, hey, what are you going to do? No, Greg, I haven't done that yet. I have not tried another flash drive and tried Rufus. What I'm doing at the moment is I've booted to a Linux USB disk thumb drive, and I'm resizing a couple of partitions to see is this a space issue? Is this, I don't have enough space on the drive to do what I want to do? I'd be very surprised if it is. But that's where I'm at the moment, is that we're resizing, we're making a little bit more room on the C partition and seeing if that solves the issue. It might not. but I'm going to try it. The other thing that it could be, this is a possibility. The other thing that it could be is that I have a very small recovery partition on this thing. That might also be part of the problem. And it can't make any more space because it sees the Linux partition and it's going, what the hell is this? That might be another reason why. But I'm going to have to experiment after this again. Once this is all finished and this is all done, I'll try one more time. And if it doesn't resolve itself, then what I'm probably going to have to do is, rather than keep the live stream going while I'm trying to figure this all out in real time, which is going to be very boring for the rest of you, what I think I'll wind up doing is I'll end the stream, and then I will probably offline, but I'll record it, what solves the problem. Now, I'm hoping that reallocating space here will take care of it. If that doesn't take care of it, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start playing around with partitions and possibly shrink the Linux partition a little bit more and expand the recovery partition and see if that takes care of it, because that might also be part of the problem. Just looking at my, yeah. See, the recovery partition on the streamer, which was moved to 11, has a 687 megabyte recovery partition. The system that I'm trying to do this on right now only has 100 megabyte. So that might also be the problem. Well, yeah, 512 recovery partition is 5 times the size of what this has at the moment. And I think, and I could be wrong, but I think part of the Windows 11 upgrade process resizes that recovery partition. Well, it doesn't seem to have any room to work with. I'm going through things in my head, and I'm trying to figure out, where do we proceed from here? Zvi, thank you very much. Hopefully, yeah, we'll see you next time. It's probably very late in Israel at the moment, because it's 4:45. I've been at this for about an hour. All right, so let me go take a look and see where we're at. So I put this back on the larger monitor so I can see where we're at. Okay. Almost done, I think. We'll see. But yeah, almost done, I think. Yeah. Just making sure it's not frozen. It's not. It's going to take a while to try and figure out what it's doing. That's all. So, I mean, I can't interrupt this, because if I interrupt this, everything's going to get hosed. But I think I could try resizing that recovery partition, stealing a little bit more from the Linux partition and expanding out the recovery partition. That might solve the problem. But I've got to wait for this to finish. So that's all we're waiting on. I'm waiting for this to finish. Yeah, I remember that Windows update where it was trying to resize it, and if it couldn't do it, yeah. And on my system, on this gaming system, I believe that, yeah, I had that problem. So yeah, that could very well be the issue. But until this finishes, I can't do anything. Okay, what does it say? I can't see. Okay, looks like it completed. All right, so let's close that. Again, I'm not 100% sure that this is going to fix the problem. In fact, I'm willing to bet that it's probably not going to. And the other thing also is I need to find out, did it hose up the system to the point where it won't boot anymore? That's the other thing. So, once again, live and unscripted, boys and girls. Live and unscripted. And given, again, how long it took to resize what it was doing there, I don't know that I want to try to resize the recovery partition on stream, because it's just going to take too long. All right, so I'm going to put this Windows 11 thing back in. We're going to go here, go here. We're going to run the setup program. Once again, I'm going to unplug the network first, because I don't feel like dealing with this crap. And we'll go from here. See what happens. What is this? Now, let me go in here. Let's do this. There we go. Let's do that instead. Let's just let it do its thing without checking for updates. Now, you would think that if the recovery partition wasn't big enough, it would say something about it, but apparently not. It just gives you a cryptic, we can't install it. So, getting closer to 5 o'clock. This is taking longer than I really wanted it to. Yeah, I would think it has enough space. Let's see what we got here. Let's go to local disk C. Look, 450 gigabytes should be plenty. So if it barfs again, then I'm guessing it's the recovery partition. That's my next guess. And I don't want to keep you guys around here to go through another round of resizing using the Linux USB thumb drive. because there's no point in it. Well, Rick, it's not a bad thing that the people, the other side of the planet watched the video. Somebody watched it. People watched it. What is that? Don't look a gift horse in the mouth, I think is the phrase I'm looking for. I could be wrong. So again, either it's going to barf all over itself again, which is entirely possible, or now it's going to be happy. I mean, fortunately, it goes rather quickly. It's not like we're not trying to pull anything down off the internet while we're trying to do this. This actually goes through pretty quickly. Yes, Greg. Yes, the Linux partition is between the Windows C and the recovery partition. Correct. And I'm going to willing to bet that it's going to fail again. And then what I'll have to do is I'll have to do a follow-up video because, again, I don't want to have you guys just sit here and wait for it to resize things again because that took a while. But yes, I'm guessing that Windows is trying to redo that recovery partition and it goes, what the hell is this over here? It doesn't know what to do. Yeah. Yeah, that's my thinking process now. Again, I expect this to fail again. And assuming that it fails again, then yeah, my guess is it's the recovery partition, which means I'll have to go back. I'm going to expand the Linux partition back a little bit. And I mean, not back to where it was before, but I'll expand it a little bit and then I'll come over to the recovery partition and sneak it. And my guess is that that'll take care of it. And like I said, I don't want to sit here and wait, have you guys wait here, twiddling your thumbs, my thumbs up my butt, whatever, to go through that process again. I mean, unless you want me to go through that, but you're going to be here at least another, excuse me, you're probably going to be here at least another, I don't know, how long did the first one take? That was a good, I want to say it was a good 10, 15 minutes easily for it to resize what it was resizing that time. I don't even want to imagine how long it's going to take for the next time. But hey, if you guys want me to try, I'll try. I'm just warning you, it's going to be boring as hell. Not that this in itself isn't boring too, but all right, let's see what it's going to do. Okay, let's see. I'm guessing it's going to do the exact same thing. It's going to sit there for a while trying to figure stuff out. It's going to get the 1, the 2, the 3, the 5, and then it's going to jump 15 and then restart again because it couldn't do it. I'm assuming that's exactly what it's going to do. Now, somebody else who I'm sure that lots of us are familiar with would just tell you that, you know, this is enthusiast stuff. It's not, you know, real world working on stuff. Okay, whatever. Don't care. Yeah, yeah, MBR with, well, essentially, although this wasn't installed using MBR, it does, again, it has that very small recovery partition. And I didn't notice. I was busy talking. I didn't notice. I think it blew up again. Yeah, it blew up again. Yep, this is exactly what I expected to happen. So, I don't know. You guys want to put up with another resizing thing? I don't think you want to do that. So, but the good news is that so far it hasn't hurt anything. Everything's still working. It's just that it won't do the upgrade, and yeah, I'm now convinced that it's because of the recovery partition. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, exactly the same thing. So, yeah, it has to be that recovery partition. It has to be that. So, Chris, blowing up something indicates that I got it to a situation where the machine no longer works. I haven't blown it up. I'm running into a few issues, yes, but I haven't blown it up. All right, so I'm going to pull a Doug Betts here. Okay? I'm going to pull a Doug Betts. This is on you guys. If you want to see me try to do another resize, get that recovery partition expanded, knowing that you're going to probably have to wait at least a good 10 to 15 minutes for the operation to complete, if you still want me to try to resize the recovery partition, put a 1 in the chat. If you don't want me to do it now and do it later, then you put a 0. Tony with a 1. Chris Garrett with a 1. Greg N with a 1. Rick Lates with a, oh my God. You guys are gluttons for punishment. Okay. You guys are gluttons for punishment. Holy crap. John says 0. Bronk 9 says 1. And I think I've got, according to this, I think there's, how many people are watching right now? 12? Is that what that says? 12? Okay. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people saying they want me to try to do this now while we're on the live stream. Okay. All right. I think you folks are crazy, but okay. Okay, let me put that back in. All righty. Rick, go for it. Yeah, you're not worried. It's not your system, right? not worried. All right. All right, so we're going to boot again. You know what I probably should do? Hang on a minute, guys. I'm going to switch over so we can see. Hang on. You are going to not see this immediately, but hang on a second. Let me turn off that one and turn this one on. There we go. Now we can all see things. I put it into the other port. Now we can all see things. I think that'll make everybody much happier. Certainly make me happier, because now I don't have to go, what am I doing? Okay, so wait for it to come up. Okay. Okay, G part. There we go. Okay, so we're looking at everything that's here. All right, so let's expand this out a little bit. All right, so yeah, see, that's very tiny for a recovery partition. Okay, that's very, very tiny. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to come into here and I'm going to resize and I'm going to move this let me see. I don't think I need quite, hang on. I only need a little bit. All right, let's do that. Let's do that. That's roughly, well, no, actually I can shrink it down a little bit more. Because I'm going to steal that 100. I'm going to expand that 100, so it doesn't need to be quite that big. So I'm going to put it at 810, plus the other 100 will make it 910. So we're going to hit that right there. Yes, I know that it will. Yes, I know that's a problem. Thank you. I'm going to come into here. I'm going to resize, move, and I'm going to expand it out to here. Now that is a hell of a recovery partition. Might be too much, but I'm going to leave it at that. Yes, I know. Shut up. All right, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to expand this out and try to deal with it. Now, again, that might be more than it actually needed, way more than it probably needed, but that's what we're going to try and do. So let's see what happens. Again, I'm not terribly concerned, because even if I screw something up, I can get the data off the drive. I know I can. So this is not an issue. Now, again, I don't know how long it'll take to do this. It might not take nearly as long to do this as it did the other one. But we'll see. This will have to, again, we have to wait for it to do what it wants to do, and it does it in various stages. And we could be here another 10-15 minutes for this to finish what it's doing. I'm hoping, because it doesn't have to do too much resizing, that this will happen. Yeah, we moved it. Yeah, we shrunk the Linux partition down another gigabyte. So, but yeah, we'll have to let this do what it wants to do. So while we're doing that, let me look over here and see what's going on in chat. Is there a chance Linux is on a separate SSD so you can unplug it? It is not. This is a OneDrive system. I have always done my dual boots on a single drive system. I tried 2 drives before, and I managed to screw that up royally when the OneDrive died. Right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly, Greg. Right. That's exactly it. It's trying to move the partition this way, and it bumps up against that, and it goes, no idea what this is. So, but I'm also guessing that this is ultimately what the problem is. We know we have enough space on the C drive, so that's not the issue. I'm guessing the issue is the recovery. And once we change that, I'm hoping that this time it will go through. So, live and unscripted, boys and girls. This is what happens when you're an enthusiast. You run into these really oddball problems that, yeah, okay, maybe I've created myself, but they're oddball problems. I've learned more from doing and screwing up than I've ever learned from doing and being successful. Right off the bat. I've learned more from my screw-ups. Most people should learn more from their screw-ups than they do their successes. Ask another question. Anybody planning any hardware upgrades this year? Got anything in the wings? Because I already asked if everybody has the machine that can do 11, and it would appear that everybody does. But is it just barely qualify? You due for something, or? And once we get this done and I reboot the system, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to double check that recovery partition, make sure that it's the size that should be big enough. I'm just watching the conversation in chat right now. Somebody's out like a light. But she's happy because she's with Dad. In fact, let me see if I can. All right, come on. Yeah, now it's moving that other, it's finally moving that. There we go. Boom. Okay. So this went a little faster. Cool. All right, so we're going to get out of here. I'm going to go back in. And I'm going to restart. I'm going to pull this Linux thing out of here. I'm going to keep this plugged into the 1080p. Nah, I pulled out the drive too soon. It's okay. So it'll either do something or it won't. Okay. Yeah, execute shutdown. Okay, that's fine. Here's what we're going to do. We're just going to go in and we're going to power it down. And then we're going to boot again. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so far so good. Yeah, I expected it. Yeah, I kind of expected this the last couple times, but I'm going to let it do what it wants to do. There we go. All right. All right, so everybody can now see. I'm going to display settings. Go back to 100. There we go. Okay, so we're back at around at 1080p now on this instead of the 2K that it normally does. Okay, so first thing I want to do is I want to just double check disk management and see where we're at. Okay, there you go. An almost 2 gig recovery partition. If that ain't enough, boys and girls, I don't know what is. Got a little bit of unallocated space here. I'm not concerned about that right now. I can fix that later, but there we go. That should be more than sufficient. So for the 4th time, let's see what happens. Now I forgot to hit the thing for not now for updates, so we're gonna have to go through this bull crap again. Yeah, drum roll. Yeah. Let's see what it does. I'm gonna hit accept. Making sure you're ready to install. Yeah. It's I forgot to click the thing, so we're gonna have to put up with this for the moment. There's no network. Stop looking. There's no network. Stop looking. Shut up. So the good news is even with all this resizing that I've been doing, I haven't done anything. The system still boots. That's a win. But then again, not to put too fine a point on it, I know pretty much what I'm doing. Come on, There are no updates. There is no network. Give it up. Just figure no one else would use any other. Oh, yes. Well, that's the Windows philosophy. That's always been their philosophy. From, I don't know, at least Windows 3.11. That has always been their philosophy. We are the only OS. Period. End of story. That other stuff, what the hell is this other? We know nothing. So that's been their philosophy. That's nothing new. They've kept that mantra for 30 plus years. All right, let's see what happens. On a limb, it is not going to install. It might not. It might not, John. But if it does, we have solved the problem. I at least know now, if I ever have this again, which I won't, but if I ever have this again, I know where to look. Because if it's not, it wasn't that we didn't have enough free space on the C partition. We had that. We expanded it just to make sure we still had the problem. There's only a couple things it can be at this point. One is the recovery partition was way too small and it couldn't figure out how to resize it, or it doesn't like the grub bootloader on the system, period. Now, as I think it was Greg mentioned before, I have seen where having to upgrade or do an install of Windows when Linux is already on the system and the grub bootloader is there, it has been known to screw with the grub bootloader so that when you reboot the system, you don't get a menu of what you want to boot to. It just goes to Windows. I have seen that. Because once again, Microsoft is like, we are the only OS. You shall have no other OSs before us. I mean, I've said it before, so I'm sorry to repeat this, but at one point I had a computer system that would boot MS-DOS, OS/2, Linux, and Windows 4. Because I'm crazy. We'll see here. We'll see. If we get past 15%, then it should go. Yeah, Greg, that's one way to do it. Absolutely, that's yeah. My problem is that I don't want to use a second disk. I don't want to use the second disk. I don't want to have to be quick on the keyboard to find out, where to get the right thing. It's just, no. The grub bootloader does fine. It presents me with a menu choice on the screen. Gives me a little bit of time. I can adjust that time if I need to. And let's see, I got another 40. No, I've got another 38 minutes. I want to get this finished by 6. Stealth mode. I find your lack of faith disturbing. Okay, here we go. Is it going to work or is it not? 1 if you think it's going to work, 0 if you think it's going to bomb. Church of Stealth. What would be the boot order with 4 OSs? It depends. If you had installed all the OSs and used OS 2's boot system, it would ask you. If you use the Linux Grub bootloader, which I don't think it was Grub at the time, but whatever the bootloader was, again, it would give you a menu and you can just and pick. Greg says 1. Well, we're going to find out. It has to get past 15. Now, it went to 5 at one point and then immediately went to 15 and then it restarted again. Okay, so there's 5. What's it doing? Is it going to die again? If it's going to die again, then okay, fine. Yep. Still doesn't work. Still doesn't work. My guess is it's pissed off about the Grub bootloader. It wants to do, it either is pissed off about the bootloader or it just doesn't like the fact that Linux is on the system, period. So, okay. So that's it. That's it, guys. So it looks like what we're going to have to wind up doing. Yep. So I'm going to have to wind up doing a fresh install, which does not make me happy. Does not make me happy. But it is what it is. So we do not have a winner. This is not the first time, by the way, I've run into this. It hasn't. It's not the first time. So okay. So it is what it is. I was hoping for a better result, but no. Of course not, because it's Microsoft. Yeah, it was worth a shot. Yeah, wipe and reload is probably going to be where I'm going to wind up being. Yep. Yep. So, all right, guys, that's it. Sorry to keep you around here for so long and not have a good result, but what are you going to do? Not my day. It's just not my day. All right, thanks for stopping by. I will see some of you at some point, maybe on Ken Stout's stream. I don't know. I'll have to see. But thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. I wish I'd had a better result. There is, well, there's the possibility, and you guys let me know what you think about this. Would you like me to see putting this system together with a dual boot from start to finish? In other words, doing a fresh install of Windows 11. Because, by the way, if you ever do a dual boot Linux system, make sure that you install the Windows first. Always do Windows first. Would you be interested in watching me do the start to finish? Loading 11, getting Linux installed on the thing. I mean, are you interested in that? If you are, then fine, I'll be happy to do it if you want me to do it live. Otherwise, you know, I don't know that, again, there's going to be a lot of dead space. We're going to be sitting around waiting for things to happen. So you can, if you want to leave a comment, because I'm going to end this real quick here. If you want to leave a comment and come and let me know if you are interested in watching that happen, I'll be happy to do it, because I've got to do it anyway. I've got to get the system on 11 one way or the other, because that's what's the future. None of us like it necessarily, but it's the future. So leave a comment down below and let me know if you would like to see that from start to finish. All right, I'm going to get out of here. You guys have a good afternoon. No, John, again, not using separate drives. I've run into trouble doing that. No. Sorry, no. All right. So I think that's going to be it. But yeah. Okay. Everybody's, yep. Okay. Yeah. All right. Looks like there's not much interest in that, but again, if you feel like you want to see that from start to finish, just let me know. Okay, I'm getting out of here. Thanks, guys. Thanks for sticking around. We'll catch you later.